So for those of you who are tempted to sleep through my homily, Jesus says, stay awake. It is a reminder, of course, that we don't know when our last day on earth is. Many priests have in their sacristy this saying, and certainly Mother Teresa had it in the sacristies of her order, where it would say, Father, celebrate this Mass as if it were your first Mass, as if it were your last Mass, as if it were your only Mass. We come to Mass today and, we want that fervor of our first Mass. And we don't know. Maybe this is our last Mass. We never know. So we celebrate it that this is the grace of God. This might be our only Mass. I remember several years ago doing a funeral for a man. He wasn't young, but it was unexpected how quickly he died, because he was at Mass one week and the next week he was dead. And his granddaughter was an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion. She'd just become one, and she actually gave him communion at that Mass, and she was delighted that she was able to give him his last communion. What a grace that was. But we don't know when the last time on this earth is that we're going to be experiencing God's grace through the Mass. And so we need to be prepared. We need to be awake. What in our lives are we delaying? Because it's very easy to be procrastinators, right? Well, I'll get to that later. I'll do that later, You who are retired will find this funny. When the young people says, well, I will get closer to God when I'm retired, because then I'll have more time. And all of you who are retired know how little time you actually have, right? That there's always, when the kids get older, when the kids move out of the house, when I retire, we always think there's going to be another moment. And the Lord says, no, the only time we have is now, in the present. And so we need to pray to God for that grace of perseverance in this moment, to follow Him, to break free from those things which are holding us back from Him. We look at St. Monica today, what a great saint, and how she prayed and cried and cried and prayed and harped on her son, Augustine, about becoming Catholic, about coming to the faith, about getting baptized. That she was she knew the importance of finding God's grace in this moment. And she prayed and she cried and she cried and she prayed. She probably offered up sacrifices for him. And, you know how it is. He didn't want to listen to Mom. Those of you who have children or grandchildren who have left the faith, you know what that's like. You try to talk to them about faith, and they're like, nope, don't want to listen to you. And they push themselves back. It's like a stubbornness. The more you talk, the more they get stubborn. I know that stubbornness because I'm like that. That's how I know that. But St. Monica, she prayed, she cried, and then God sent who? St. Ambrose to talk to St. Augustine. St. Ambrose was someone that he could hear, someone he could understand, someone who spoke a language that he could get. And St. Ambrose said to St. Monica, it's okay. God's going to take care of him. Someone who has cried and prayed as much as you have, he's going to hear your prayer. And so we can pray to God for those we love. Pray that He sends someone like St. Ambrose was to St. Augustine for those people. Because they're not going to listen to Mom. They're not going to listen to Dad. And that's okay. By our prayers, by our sacrifices, we're pouring down God's grace. We become like that magnifying glass of God's grace in their lives, so that when God sends that person, they will be open to it. At the entrance, I have these little bookmark prayers. One side is prayer to St. Monica, and the other side is a prayer to St. Ambrose. And they are prayers for those who are far from the church. So I invite you, if you'd like, to pick one of those up and to pray Pray that for those people that you love who are far from God. And to know, if we do our best to follow God in this moment, if we do our best to say, okay, God, here, move through me, use my suffering that I have, the aching in my heart that this person is far from you, use this prayer that I have, use these tears, God will pour out his grace on them and on us.